I had always loved hiking. There's something about the solitude of the woods, the rustle of leaves underfoot, the distant call of birds that calms me. So, when I heard about the new trail at Pinewood Forest, I was excited to try it out. It was a warm Saturday morning when I set off. The entrance to the trail was marked by a simple wooden sign. Pinewood Trail, 6 miles. The path was well-trodden, winding gently through the trees. I felt at peace, the familiar sense of adventure filling me as I ventured deeper into the forest. About 2 miles in, I noticed a narrow, unmarked path branching off to the right. Curiosity piqued, I decided to take it. It was narrower, less used, the kind of path that felt like a hidden secret. As I walked, the forest around me grew denser, the canopy thicker, blocking out the sun. After about half an hour, I reached a clearing. In the middle stood an old, dilapidated cabin. It looked abandoned, but there was something about it that drew me in. The door was ajar, hanging on rusted hinges. I stepped inside, the floorboards creaking under my weight. The interior was musty, filled with the smell of decay. Dust motes danced in the shafts of light filtering through the broken windows. As I explored, I found old furniture, a rusted stove, and tattered curtains. It looked like no one had been there for years. In the corner of the main room, I noticed a trap door. It was slightly open, a dark hole in the floor. Against my better judgment, I decided to investigate. I pulled out my flashlight and descended the creaking wooden steps. The basement was small and damp. The air was thick with the smell of earth and mold. My flashlight beam caught something on the far wall, writing, scrawled in what looked like charcoal. As I got closer, I realized it wasn't just random graffiti. It was a message. "Help me! Don't let him find you!" My blood ran cold. I turned to leave, but then I heard it. A soft shuffling sound from above, followed by slow, deliberate footsteps. Someone was in the cabin. My heart pounded as I climbed the stairs as quietly as possible, hoping whoever it was wouldn't hear me. When I reached the top, the cabin was empty, but the door was now closed. I cautiously stepped outside, scanning the clearing. Nothing. Just the eerie silence of the woods. I hurried back to the main trail, my mind racing. I had almost convinced myself it was my imagination when I saw it. The path I'd taken was gone. The dense underbrush had closed in, no sign of the trail I'd followed. Panic set in. I was lost. I retraced my steps as best as I could, but every turn seemed to lead me deeper into the woods. Hours passed, the sun began to set, and the forest took on a menacing aura in the twilight. I tried to remain calm, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Just as darkness enveloped the forest, I saw it again, the clearing with the cabin. Desperation overpowered my fear, and I ran towards it, hoping to find something, anything, to help me find my way back. But as I approached, I saw him, a figure standing in the doorway, tall and shadowy, his face obscured by the darkness. I froze. The figure didn't move, just stood there watching me. Then, slowly, he raised a hand and pointed back to the woods. I didn't wait to find out what he wanted. I turned and ran, branches slashing at my face and arms, roots tripping me up, but I didn't stop. I don't know how long I ran, but eventually I stumbled onto the main trail. I looked back, but there was no sign of the figure. I didn't stop running until I reached the trailhead, collapsing onto the ground, gasping for breath. I reported the cabin to the park rangers, but when they investigated, they found no trace of it. No clearing, no cabin, nothing. Just dense forest. They said I must have gotten lost, imagined it all in my panic. But I know what I saw. And sometimes, late at night, I can still see his silhouette in my mind, standing in that doorway, pointing me back into the darkness.